Welcome to my today's class. Today we will discuss Module C Part 2. Dear students, today's topic is Information System Developments. At first, we will discuss the overview of system development. Any system development is the process of defining, designing, testing and implementing a new software application or program. It could include the internal development of customized system, the creation of database system, or the acquisition of third-party developed software. Written standards and procedures must guide all information system processing function. The organization's management must define and implement standards and adopt an appropriate system development lifecycle methodology governing the process of developing, acquiring, implementing, and maintaining computerized information system and related technology. The students, the system development process consists of 6 stages. System development is a structured kind of problem solving with distinct activities consist of system analysis, system design, programming, testing, conversion, and production and maintenance. The students, any system development have a life cycle. The basic life cycle of a system development have 7 stages. Start with planning and end with maintenance. The all stages are planning, analysis, design, coding, testing, deployment, and maintenance. All are the 7 stages of any life cycle of a software development. Now we start planning stage. Actually, what are the existing problem? At first you need to identify your problem first. Otherwise, your planning stage will not be go for a long run. Students, planning is one of the core phases of SDLC. It acts as the foundation of the whole SDLC scheme and paves the way for the successful execution of upcoming steps and ultimately a successful project launch. In this stage, the problem or pain, the software target is clearly defined. First, developers and other team members outline objectives for the system and draw a rough plan of how the system will work. In this stage, the problem or pain, the software targets is clearly defined. First, developers and other team members outline objectives for the system and draw a rough plan of how the system will work. Then, they may make use of predictive analysis, and AI help project managers build a picture of the long-term resources required to develop a solution, potential market update, and which obstacle might arise. At this core, the planning process helps identify how a specific problem can be solved with a certain software solution. Crucially, the planning stage involves analysis of the resources and cost needed to complete the project, as well as estimating the overall price of the software developed. Finally, the planning process clearly defines the outline of system development. The project manager will set the deadline and time frame for each phase of the software development lifecycle, ensuring the product is presented to the market in time. And it is the key studying of any project. Second stage is analysis stage. This stage, what do we want actually? Once the planning is done, it's time to switch to the research and analysis stage. In this step, you incorporate more specific data for your new system. This includes the first system prototype draft, market research, and an evaluation of competitors. The students, to successfully complete the analysis and put together all critical information for a certain project, developers should do the following. Number 1, generate the system requirements. 2, evaluate existing prototype. 3. Conduct market research, and mainly set concrete goal. What actually we want from this planning. Then we go for design stage. Dear students, what will the finished project look like? We may design in this design stage. The next stage of a system development project is design and prototyping. This stage is design stage. Actually, what will the finished project look like? We analyze and design this stage. The next stage of a system development project is design and prototyping. The process is an essential precursor to development. It is often incorrectly equipped with the actual development process, but in rather an extensive prototyping stage. This stage of the system development lifecycle can significantly eliminate the time needed to develop the software. It involves outlining the different things. The system interface, how look like, database, code system features like architecture, macroscopies, user interface and usability, what actually look like, and then network and its requirement. We already finished the design stage. The students, we go for development stage. Let's create the system. In the development stage of SDLC, the system creation process procedure a working solution. Developers write code and build the app according to the finalized requirements and specification documents. Students, this stage includes both front and back-end development. Engineers are essential for allocating self-service resources to developers to streamlining the process of testing and rollout, for which CI/CD is typically employed. This phase of the system development lifecycle is often split into different sub-stages, especially if a microservice or mini-service architecture in which development is broken into separate modules is chosen. In this stage, developers will typically use multiple tools, program environment and languages like C++, PHP, Python and others, all of which will comply with the project specifications and requirements outlined in the SRS document. Dear students, now we go for testing. This is called testing stage. Actually, this stage is it the exact one we needed? What do you want it is look like or not? The testing stage ensures the application features work correctly and coherently and fulfill users' objectives and expectations. This process involves detecting the possible bug, defects and errors, searching for vulnerabilities, and can sometimes take up even more time compared to the app building stage. What actually you want? We can see this type of thing this stage. In this testing stage, there are various approaches to testing, and you will likely adopt a mix of methods during the phase. Behavior-driven development, which uses testing outcomes based on plan, language to include non-developers in the process, has become increasingly popular. Similarly, automated and cloud-based platforms which stimulate testing environments take a significant amount of manual time out of this stage of the system development lifecycle. A browser testing tool is one popular example of such a platform. In this stage, you can test your design in this platform. Now we go for integration and implementation stage. In this stage, how will we use it? Once the product is ready to go, it's time to make it available to its end users and deploy it to the production environment. At this stage, the software undergoes final testing through the training or pre-production environment, after which it is ready for presentation on the market. It is important that you have contingencies in place when the product is first released to market should any unforeseen issues arise. We already go for live, now we go for maintenance stage. Let's make the improvement. What actually want look like? Or management think differently, your managers think differently, you can go for maintenance stage. The last but not least important stage of SDLC process is the maintenance stage, where the software is already being used by end users. During the first couple of months, developers might face problems that weren't detected during initial testing. So, they should immediately react to the reported issues and implement the changes needed for the software stable and convenient users. Dear students, this is the particularly important for large systems, which usually are more difficult to test in the debugging stage. Dear students, this is particularly important for large systems, which usually are more difficult to test the debugging stage. We also know that automatic monitoring tools which continuously evaluate performance and uptime and detect errors can assist developers with ongoing quality assurance. This is also known as instrumentation. The students have different SDLC models arise. In this stage, a wise man once said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We always know that what actually we want, what our plan is the major thing of any SDLC models. Now we will discuss some of SDLC models. Number 1, waterfall model. Number 2, red model. Number 3, spiral model. Number 4, V model. Number 5, incremental model. Number 6, agile model. Number 7, interactive model. And number 8, debugging model. All models are effective for making your plan with the SDLC model. Now we will discuss the models one by one. Firstly, we will discuss waterfall model. This waterfall model is a continuous software development model in which development is seen as following steadily downwards like a waterfall. Through the stage of requirements analysis, design, implementation, testing, validation, integration and maintenance all are the part of this model. Linear ordering of activities has some significant consequences. First, to identify the end of phase and beginning of the text. Some certification techniques have to be employed at the end of each step. Some verification and validation usually do this mean that will ensure that the output of the stage is consistent with its input, which is the output of the previous step. This is the major characteristics of this model, and that the output of the stage is consistent with the overall requirement of the system. Now we go for RAD model. RAD, Rapid Application Development Process, is an adaptation of the waterfall model. It targets developing software in a short period. The RAD model is based on the concept that a better system can be developed in leisure time by using focus group of gathering system requirement. Business modeling, data modeling, process modeling, application generation and testing and turnover all are the part of RAD model. Dear student, now we will discuss about spiral model. You know about spiral model? It's different from other model. The spiral model is a risk-driven process model. This SDLC model helps the group to adopt elements of one or more processes model like a waterfall, incremental, waterfall, etc. The spiral technique is a combination of rapid prototyping and concurrency in design and development activities. Each cycle in the spiral begins with the identification of objectives of that cycle, the different alternatives that are possible to achieving the goal, and the constraints that exist. This is the first quadrant of this cycle that called upper lip quadrant. The next step in the cycle is to evaluate these different alternatives based on the objectives and constraints. The focus of evaluation in this step is based on the risk perception for the project. The next step is to develop strategies that solve uncertainties and risks. This step may involve activities such as benchmarking, simulation, and prototyping. Now we discuss V model. In this type of SDLC model, testing and the development, the step is planning in parallel. So there are verification phases on the side and the validation phases on the other side. V model joined by coding phase. Now we'll go for incremental model. The incremental model is not a separate model. It is necessarily a series of waterfall cycle. The requirements are divided into groups at the stage of the project. For each group, the HDLC model is followed to develop software. The HDLC process is repeated with each release adding more functionality even if all requirements are met. In this method, each cycle acts as the maintenance phases for the previous software release. Modification to the incremental model allows development cycle to overlap. After that, subsequent cycle may begin before the previous cycle is complete. This is the incremental model. We all know about Agile. Now we will discuss about Agile model. Agile methodology is a practice which promotes continuous interaction of development and testing during the HDLC process of any project. In the Agile method, the entire project is divided into small incremental builds. All of these builders are provided in Agile methodology is a practice which promotes continuous interaction of development and testing during the HDLC processes of any project. In the Agile method, the entire project is divided into small incremental builds. All of the builds are provided in iterations and each iteration lasts from 1 to 3 weeks. The students, any Agile software faces is characterized in a manner that addresses several key assumptions about the bulk of software project. We all know it is difficult to think in advance which software requirements will persist and which will change. It is equally difficult to predict how users prioritize with change as the project processes. For many types of software, design and development are interlinked. That is, both activities should be performed in tandem so that design models are proven as they are created. It is difficult to think about how much design is necessary before construct is used to test the configuration. So Agile model is too important. For any analysis, design, development and testing are not predictable from a planning point of view as we might like and call Agile. Now we will discuss in interactive model. Now we go for interactive model. Interactive is always appreciable. It is a particular implementation of software development like cycle that focuses on an initial simplified implementation, which then progressively gains more complexity and a broader feature set until the final system is complete. Interactive development is a way of breaking down the software development of a large application into smaller pieces. So go with interactive is go for interactive model to make your plan more success. Now we discuss the last model is called Big Bang model. Big Bang model is focusing on all types of resources in software development and coding. With no or very little planning, these requirements are understood and implemented when they come. This model works best for a small project with smaller size development team which are working together. It is also useful for academic software development project. It is an idea model where requirements are either unknown or final release date is not given. Dear students, when we go for any planning issue, we may go any one of this model. I believe all of the model is essential for your planning issues, so that any HDLC model should have maintained any model. Without goal, your success is not possible. So, dear students, you must maintain your success with your goal, with your planning. Thank you for today.